Hello, everyone. Welcome to West Nale Virus. My name is Caleb Nale. I am half of the virus. My other half is probably sleeping. I don't know. Well, he might pop in. I sent the invite. But we got to get started. So thank you for joining me. Go on YouTube. You can watch me talk to a camera if you're into that into those things. I don't have any other like special people with me, and I'm going to get him on right now because my other half is now joining us. We have lots of things to talk about today. He doesn't even know I'm recording because we are recapping the week. That's why we have so many things to talk about. We are recapping the week. So we have Field of Dreams we're going to touch on. A lot of things happen in the soccer world with one player. I'm sure you've heard the news. USA Soccer, are we here to stay? What's going on with NIL? The NIL, there's a few things going on. Josiah, what's up, man?
There we go.
We are recording.
Having some computer issues.
Uh-oh. I'm telling everybody what we're going over today. We're talking about high school players that have gone into the G League. We'll talk about that, and then some preseason football, because my other half of the virus is now here, the west part.
Absolutely.
Josiah, your mic is a little loud, just to let you know. These are things we usually get done before, but since I have to go places, so you know, Josiah, I started the recording, and so we're going. But we're gonna we're gonna start.
There we go. That should be better.
That is beautiful. The coolest thing that happened this week, and it wasn't even close, was Field of Dreams.
Oh yeah, that game was awesome.
That between the New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox. I got to watch some of the game, but it is single-handedly going to save the baseball season. Otherwise, no one would have watched baseball this year.
I've got to say, I joined. Like I told you, already. I joined that game with no expectations whatsoever. I kind of expected to not really watch it very much because that's usually what I've done when I turn on a baseball game. Because as I've said before, I've never been a big baseball fan. I gotta say, if all baseball games were like that, I'd watch every baseball game. I mean, it was really entertaining. I turned it on. Immediately, Aaron Judge hits a home run out of the park into the corn. And then
Stanton.
Then immediately a guy gets walked, and then Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run, and then the top of the ninth was over. Moved to the bottom of the ninth. The guy got struck out, and then
Tim Anderson comes to the plate.
Tim Anderson comes in, hits a walk-off home run, sends in the guy on the first base.
Yeah, it was amazing. And of course, I watched the entire game except the ninth inning, but there were. And the game is full. The game was full of home runs. I don't even want to put a number on the home runs. I think there was 6, between 6 and 8 home runs.
It was 8. It was 8.
Yes. Okay. You got to stick with your gut. First one. 8 home runs. So there's people like you, Josiah, that are not watching baseball who come into this game. Beautiful setting. I think every team should play there once a year.
Oh yeah.
They're saying,
I wish.
They're saying cool right now that's like a once a year deal. Like there's only going to be one game a year. No, you got to have, for the sake of baseball,
use it.
Yeah, every team should play there once throughout the year. It's still got to be special. So if every team only gets to play there once, and make it a week, the Field of Dreams week or something like that. But you have to have that, and I think they have to, for baseball to stay relevant, they have to do that. And even other sports, I think they should do that. Like basketball games, they should go to like famous parks, like outdoor parks, and play a game. Like college basketball, they play on the aircraft carriers. Hockey has their outdoor game. The football should go play in college stadiums, get a different atmosphere. I think
Right.
like if you do those things, that is awesome. That is going to save sports. But Field of Dreams was the coolest thing I saw this week. And same with you, Josiah. You agree?
Yes. Oh yes, it was awesome. I loved it. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Keep it up, MLB. All right. Second thing on today's list. A big transaction in the world of sports. Probably the biggest. I actually think this is the biggest move in sports history.
It's
Well, at least my lifetime.
It's definitely probably yeah. In our lifetime, probably the biggest move in sports.
Lionel Messi has gone to PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. I don't speak French.
Whatever.
But now speak English only.
I forgot how to say it, so we're just gonna move
we
on.
We say PSG around here.
PSG, that's the easiest thing. Yeah, exactly.
PSG is now loaded. They have Neymar, Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
I gotta say that's a terrifying front.
Yeah, that trio is amazing. Do you think Messi leaving to PSG? Now, I shouldn't say he's leaving. Barcelona did not want him back. I don't think they wanted him back.
Yeah.
But do you think that with that happening, is this going to change how soccer transactions go down?
I don't think so completely, but I do think it kind of sets a precedent of no one plays for one league or no one plays for one team their whole career. I mean, obviously there was already sort of that precedent with like David Beckham going to MLS and stuff, but I mean, now that Messi's moved on from Barca, he was there for I don't even know how long.
Right.
Long time. I mean, as long as I can remember, Messi was on Barcelona. So yeah, it's definitely strange, but
I feel the same way. With Messi leaving, it only opens the door to players feeling as though the teams have no loyalty to their players.
Right.
Which is sad. Very sad.
Yeah, it stinks. I've always liked when teams kind of show a little bit of loyalty to their players. Obviously, you can't go too far because I mean, it is a business,
right?
But
when it's one of the best players in the world and you don't even hold up, you're not grabbing him. Yeah. All right, staying in the soccer world, the FIFA World Cup rankings came out, and the United States is ranked number 10 in the nation currently. We are ranked for some odd reason because they do it by points behind Mexico right now.
I don't really understand that one.
But
myself,
with the United States cracking the top 10, beating Mexico twice, is this some place that we could get used to? Top 10?
I think it's a place I think it's definitely a place we could get used to. I don't see a reason, in fact, why we shouldn't be expecting this at this point. Obviously, we didn't make the last World Cup, which was just shameful.
Yes.
Like that's ridiculous. How are we not going to make a World Cup like at all?
Right.
And we're not winning most stuff. Every once in a while we would win the Gold Cup, the CONCACAF, but mostly just we wouldn't win a whole lot of anything. But now that we have won both the Nations League and the Gold Cup, and we beat Mexico twice, who's our main rival, I think it's in the same year. I think it's time for the United States to realize, like, hey, we should be good at soccer. And soccer's fun, and maybe my kids should play soccer and not just stick every kid I have into basketball and football. It's like,
There's
I
other
think
options.
there is exactly, there's other options. And I think we've got a ton of good soccer players that just didn't play from the time they were young. So they never got good.
Mhm. I'm a little hesitant to jump on the bandwagon because I remember 2000 when we played Portugal and Jurgen Klinsmann was our coach, and we played Portugal in the World Cup and we tied Portugal 1-1, I believe.
That's pretty darn
And
good.
everyone thought, "Oh my goodness, we United States is going to be great.
It's gonna be
And
amazing forever."
yeah, and under Jurgen Klinsmann, we've gotten so much better." And then we just took a turn for the worse, and it went back down to doo-doo rankings. And now we've come back, but the difference is that we have American players now all over the world
Yes.
playing in all
Yes.
different leagues. And not only are they just playing, but they're doing well and
They're
winning
doing well in
these
those leagues. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the important distinction. I mean, we do have to realize, like, we're at a point we've never been at in US soccer before, where we actually have US players playing in Europe, playing for good teams, playing, not just in the MLS, which obviously has a limited player base right now. You're not going to get any of the best players in the MLS right now. And it is interesting. I mean, with the Atlantic Ocean kind of separating the Americas and Europe.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. You're never going to be able to get, MLS teams in the Champions League. It's just unrealistic.
That was the best way to put it. With the Atlantic Ocean separating. If we want it to work, we just need one big Pangea.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it really is that. Like, it's just, I mean, there's just such a huge geographic barrier in between us that I don't think it would ever really work out for the MLS teams to be consistently playing the Premier League teams and the La Liga teams and the League One. Yeah, all that stuff.
All right. Moving from one football to the other football. This is college football. A feel-good story. Feel-good story. This is feel-good stuff. BYU, Brigham Young University, gave out 36 scholarships. Well, actually, they didn't give anything. I believe it was Built Bar, due to NIL rules, gave out 36 scholarships to all BYU walk-ons, which I think is great. I think
that's really cool.
Yeah.
It is something that I like about the NIL rules. There's now people who can give other kids sponsor, or not just necessarily sponsorships, but scholarships. And that was something too that I always thought was super, super dumb, where, like, there was a kid, I don't remember what his name was, but there was a kid I remember who, he plays over in Germany now. He's a YouTuber. He records all his football in Germany. But in college, he went to college for, I want to say, Penn State or something like that. And he's playing and he did really well, but he was homeless. He didn't have any money. And he was sleeping and eating at the gym. Like, he lived at the gym pretty much. And a guy met him and said, "All right, hey, listen, you can come." Like, I don't remember if he let him, like, stay at his house or if he rented out, like, a small apartment for him. But he was like, "I feel bad for you, dude. It's hard playing football. It's a lot of, it's a lot of energy, and you just don't have a place to live right now. That sucks." So he felt bad for him, and he gave him a place to stay. And the NCAA found out about it and said, "Oh, well, that goes against our rules. You can't make money off your likeness." And
That's weird.
they kicked him out of the league. So he couldn't play football anymore in college.
And so the moral of the story is you're happy about NIL.
Oh, yeah.
being able
Moral of the
to-
story is I'm happy about the fact that NIL does allow people to help out college players like that. I like that a lot.
Right. Yeah, I am too. I'm happy. I don't. When it comes to that, however, I don't know if it's a good thing for college football. I'm a little skeptic of this as well.
Yeah, overall, I'm definitely skeptical of the NIL rules.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, definitely. But there are some things about it that I do like.
Yes. So good job, Built Bar.
Yes,
We're glad
absolutely.
that you're doing that. BYU. Not. I'm wondering if this is going to incentivize players to work harder, because now there are companies and people behind these companies giving their hard-earned money to them, if that is going to incentivize them to work harder and get better.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. All right. Now to high school basketball. So we talk about things changing in the college football sports world. Josiah, what is changing? Tell us what's changing in the high school basketball world, and it is affecting the college basketball world.
Well, what's happening is there are some high school players who are electing to no longer go to college for the required at least 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
They're instead deciding to go straight, not to the NBA, quite. They're going to the NBA G League. Now, I don't know. What do you think about this? Because this is a really weird one for me. I don't understand.
What do you not understand?
I'm trying to figure out in my head if it's a good move.
Okay.
And I think it is for the kids, but I'm not sure. So that's what I want to know. Like, do you think it's better for them to like be able to play against? Would you, if you were coming out of high school, would you rather go to the NBA G League and say, "Hey, I'm playing against this really good competition, and all these NBA scouts and stuff, they get to watch me on the G League, but NBA scouts are going to watch you in college anyway." So, or would you rather go to college against other kids more your age and stuff like that?
It depends on how good I am and who's recruiting me. There's an asterisk next to it. If I'm so good that I can go to the G League,
Right.
that means I probably have some pretty good Division I offers. So like if Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, or even just a big Division I school is recruiting me, I will probably go there and play for the experience, to get to know people, because I think that is what is so great about college, is not because of NIL or anything now that you can do, but because of the networking opportunities that you have there. And if I go to G League, the only thing that is tempting me is a bigger check. And thanks, you ruined my train of thought.
Sorry.
The only thing tempting me for the G League is a check, and some guys need those checks. If they come from a poor background. So it all depends on what you think is best for yourself. I think that they should have the decision. They should be able to make the decision to go straight to the NBA. I don't think you need that 1 year. If they are good enough, take them.
I think the G League is going to become the new, hey, you're good enough to go straight into the NBA. Just go to the G League. You can make money and you can earn money off your likeness. And if you're really good, you'll get brought straight up to the NBA.
The G
They would-
League is now an academy. I mean, that's what it
Pretty
is.
much.
It's
Pretty much. And I think all the best players will go to the G League. I think all the best players will go straight to the G
Yes.
League, and then the other guys will spend a year or 2 or 3 or 4 in college developing their skills.
Mhm.
And maybe they can still go to the NBA. And that'll be great about college now. It'll be the guys who aren't going to be there for just 1 year because maybe they're not. I mean, some of them probably still will be. Like some people will go to
Right.
college, stay for a year, go to the NBA. But I think most of it is just going to be like not as good players learning how to get better and being found by NBA teams. And I think it'll create more success stories. And I like.
All right, so I made up my mind. You asked me for. I would go to college because I know a lot of these schools, if they you get a full ride scholarship, it's most of the time a lifetime scholarship. So if I'm really good,
Oh, so you want to go back?
yes. So if I want to go back, I could just go back. I can go back.
Okay.
And
did not
that's
know that.
why I would go to, even if I go for 1 year, that's why I would go, just in case if I don't know what I want to do, or I
Right.
lose my job, in the
Right.
NBA or something, then I can go back to school and get, I could go get my master's, something like that.
I
So
can respect that.
I like the idea. I am totally for the idea of guys skipping college and going straight to the NBA and cashing out right away. Because
Absolutely.
granted, if you make $10 million and you know how to spend, that's the thing. And you know what to do with money and handle
And
that money,
yeah.
then I don't have to go to school ever again.
Right. Well, and that's another thing is, I mean, well, that's not really a topic for today's discussion, but like, yeah, the guys who go into sports and they make just a ton of money really quickly,
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of them don't really understand how to spend their money. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal, he learned how to spend his money, but he's lucky he didn't get hurt after his first year.
Mhm.
Because if he had gotten hurt in practice before ever playing and like it had just stuck around and ruined his career, he would have been screwed. He wouldn't barely made any money from the NBA because like the first thing he did was went out and bought like 3 really nice Mercedes-Benz cars. He bought one for himself, his mom, and his dad, and he bought a house. And that was what he did with his first check, which is a terrible idea. And I think he has said that, but like he ended up learning that like investing is better, like, saving my money is better. And he now owns like a ton of brands. Like he owns JC Penney, who's not a great brand to own, but he owns a bunch of different brands as well. So yeah, they don't a lot of them don't really know how to spend their money. And that would be an interesting thing to see if
You should go teach him, Josiah.
I'll go teach them how to spend their money. Good idea.
All right, moving on to
Player.
NFL.
Mm,
The NFL has changed the rule,
yes.
and the rule is
Annoying.
that they are going to cut down. They're start penalizing taunting. So when you see Tyreek Hill
Stupid.
running with the peace sign
Stupid.
or flexing, things like that, they're going to penalize that now. I think this is awful for football. The NFL just started.
Why?
No, they just started this celebration deal where they're allowing the teams to celebrate as a team, like group celebrations, but a little bit longer. And they could do more. And I think the guys are having a lot more fun, and the fans were enjoying it as well. I could care less about celebrations. I like to rub it in. My celebration is rubbing it in to the other team. So I do not like this getting rid of the taunting rule. And we had this great episode last year with Antoine was it Antoine Whitfield Jr., the safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tyreek Hill, and where they're taunting each other, throwing up the peace sign, and he throws it right back in his face in the Super Bowl when it happened to him. Tyreek did it to him early in the year. I think that's awesome. They should be able to do that.
I don't understand. No, I don't get it. I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand why they are taking away taunting. Like I get, okay, maybe it's kind of a jerk move sometimes. Like maybe there's no need for it at times. And maybe like put in a rule where if a guy gets hurt and you taunt him, you're probably an a-hole and you get a 15-yard penalty or whatever. Like, but I don't understand why just taunting under any just normal circumstances, 2 times you do it, you get kicked out of the game now. You get ejected from the game if you taunt people 2 times.
It's
So
terrible.
Tyreek Hill can get kicked out of a game for putting up a peace sign twice. So all you Tyreek Hill fantasy owners, don't go looking for a lot of fantasy points this season. He's going to get kicked out after 2 touchdowns. He's not going to have any more 50-point games. So
no. So I'm in 2 meetings right now. So I'm trying to see.
that is all right.
Now that's the problem with baseball. They don't allow this.
Really?
I mean,
Because
well,
baseball seems like it's very just a wild land at times. Like, I mean, people will come out that I like when the dugouts rush the field.
well, there's certain things within the game that you can do.
Interesting.
But I feel like there's this older generation. I mean, back in the day, baseball used to be great, right? There's fighting, taunting, and even like hockey has it, fighting, taunting.
Right.
Basketball, it's constantly smack talk.
Right.
Football, there used to be, not anymore, so they're ruining it. But I think that's what has, in baseball, they need these personalities, and they're not getting these personalities. And if this older generation of guys that just would say like, hey, just play the game, I want you to play the game, would go away, then baseball might be a little more popular. And I worry that the taunting is going to scare people away.
Well, one thing I know in baseball that is kind of a weird thing where it's like, how they used to get they could literally do whatever they wanted to pretty much. I mean, they could, if there's a guy trying to catch a pitch on first base and they're coming in, or on second base, we'll say, and they're coming into second base, they could just slide straight into that guy, completely not aim for the base whatsoever, and they wouldn't get in trouble. And they would just break up his catch. But you can't do that anymore. You get in a lot of trouble for that. You get in, which, I mean, I understand. People will get hurt, people will get stuff like that. But the thing is, now that there's a rule for it, it's so much more important that people don't do it because no one is expecting it to happen. There was a case of a guy who I don't remember his name, I'll be honest, but he was a second baseman and that exact thing happened. And he was looking good, like he was an improving player. He looked like, he could be in the league for a long time. He ended up, a guy slid into him on second base, didn't even aim for the base, but he wasn't expecting it, didn't see it coming, got flipped, looked real nasty, broke his leg. I don't know. I don't remember if it was broke his knee or broke his like shin or something like that. But yeah, he broke his leg, and the player was never the same. Pretty much ruined his career. So yeah, it just sucks. And some rules, I don't think that's necessarily a bad rule, but I think they need to realize that when the more rules you add, the more things become dangerous. Because if somebody does these things and no one's expecting it, then it's going to be way worse than if they do it and someone is expecting it. I mean,
are you saying that taunting is going to injure people?
I'm not saying taunting is going to, I'm not saying that. Maybe
if
No,
you
not
if
probably
you
not
don't allow
but
taunting, people are going
just
to
stop
snap their
adding
necks.
in 10 million new rules to like we can't stop people from getting injured. That's impossible. Like if you're just gonna, I mean, you might as well at this point just say if you injure someone, you're ejected. It's like it's not how the game works.
So
He
you're saying
didn't
if
do
you want,
anything against the rules, but he broke his leg on accident. That sucks. But like,
you
okay, but then
assume
when
the
you
risk.
add rules to take away these things, then it becomes even more dangerous.
Right. All right. Josiah's rant about rules.
Yeah.
No rules. You should have no rules because then it's the people. I don't know. I'm confused.
People are looking out for themselves.
Yeah. No rules. Is it safer with no rules?
Probably not, but I think rules need to have a limit.
They're more. I like the term guidelines, not rules. Guidelines. More like guidelines. It's my favorite line from Pirates of the Caribbean. All right, moving on to the NFL.
NFL.
Some things that have come out from training
The
camp.
No
One
Fun
thing.
League.
The one thing that I want to touch on that's come out of camp so far is that the Bengals offense is struggling. And leading up to the draft, Josiah, you, myself, and my brother were talking about how great it was going to be to watch Joe Burrow and have, a decent O-line because they're going to draft Penei Sewell. And people get, and so I've talked to some people and I've listened to some things and they say, well, they couldn't take Penei Sewell. He's a tackle. They really need a guard. And then they say, well, they did address O-line with the very next pick. Here's my problem. Okay. If Penei Sewell is the player that everyone thought he was, and he is all-world talent, why are we passing on an O-lineman when O-line is our biggest need? And we are drafting a wide receiver who says who we're told has great chemistry with the quarterback because they played together. My question is, who is not going to have great chemistry with Jamar Chase? He's literally one of the best wide receivers.
Right. He's a great wide receiver. Okay. That's fine. But they already have T. Higgins. They have Tyler Boyd. At the time, they had AJ Green, who, he's kind of old. He's kind of washed up, whatever. But like, you've got those three guys. You might have somebody you could trade for. You might have somebody you could
draft in the later rounds.
Yeah, exactly. And you've already got wide receivers. I don't understand why they wanted another one. I understand why they would want Jamar Chase if they did want another one. But that being said, why didn't they just say, hey, let's try and trade down? We don't want Penei Sewell. We know the Lions are going to take him at 7. Let's trade down to, pick 8 or 9. And
we'll go grab some O linemen. We'll trade for O linemen and then draft somebody else.
Because in between their pick, Jamar Chase, and their next pick, I'm just going to read you the offensive linemen that were taken. Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Elijah Vera Tucker, Alex Leatherwood, Christian Darrisaw, and then Landon Dickerson, Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah, I don't need to hear anymore. It's just, it's sad. It is really sad.
Liam Eichenberg and Walker Little. Yeah, that's all of them. But that's like, I wasn't keeping track, but that's like 10 offensive linemen that they passed on. They picked Jackson Carman in the second round and that was their first attempt at adding new offensive line talent. Yeah, exactly. Why? You have a stud quarterback that you
invested everything in.
You're trying to build a team around him, and you're just going to let him go the way of David Carr.
Yeah. Yes. It's called the Carr curse. It's the Carr curse.
Didn't know his name was Joe Carr.
Yeah. So Bengals offense is this to all fantasy owners. I am avoiding all Bengals players. I won't. I'm not going to draft Jamar Chase. I can't. I mean, we're in a dynasty league, but and I don't have a pick in the first round, so I'm not going to get Jamar Chase is going to be gone by the time I pick. But I don't think anyone should be taking in any fantasy any Bengals players because you're not going to get anything from them. You're not.
Yeah, so they also did sign a few offensive linemen in the offseason. But that being said,
they're still getting owned in camp right now.
Yeah, not that many offensive linemen. They added let's see. They added offensive tackle Riley Reef. They added Quinton Spain. They added, gosh dang, a ton of tight ends. Deontay Smith, maybe. Jackson Carman, who I think might have been a rookie, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that was their rookie. Jackson Carman. They added Lamont Gaillard and they added Gunnar Vogel.
I reserve the right to change my mind on if their line is good or not because everyone can improve. They put the time in, they can improve.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that can't happen.
Absolutely.
But what I am saying is that Josiah just destroyed his computer, spilt water all over it. No, but what I am saying is that there were better options, and
yes, I don't understand it.
This is showing the ownership and the leadership in that program in the Bengals.
Genuinely don't understand because the thing is, if they go out and grab Jamar Chase and he looks great, that's awesome. But if they go out and grab Jamar Chase and he doesn't have the chance to look awesome because their offensive line is so bad, Joe Burrow can't get a pass off and he gets injured in a week, how stupid are they going to look?
Right.
How stupid are you going to look if you go out and grab a stud wide receiver and he never gets to see the freaking ball because your quarterback is getting sacked every freaking play? That is, you are going to look like the biggest idiots in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
And you had better options. They should have traded back in the first round. They should have tried to get, a first rounder and another second rounder, or two first rounders if they freaking could. I don't know. Just traded back, got some more picks, and then drafted as many offensive linemen as they could. And just been like, all right, are you good? We'll see. Are you good? We'll see. Just get somebody.
Yeah, you'll hear this from me for the rest of this, as long as this show is going.
Stupid.
The best way to build a team is start with the O-line, and then right after that, start with the D-line. That is the best way.
I think they're great. I think it's a great way to build a team. There was something I used to like to do in Madden where I would have bad players or like just below average players everywhere on my other than my offensive line and my defensive line. I did 99 overalls on there, and I just wanted to see what would happen. I destroyed everyone. First of all, my quarterback had all day to get the ball off. And second of all, defensive line, they couldn't run whatsoever. So all I had to do was stop the pass. You just call it cover 6. You're good.
Madden, the worst game in history. All right, moving on to what we learned over these past few days in preseason basketball. Preseason football.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't watch the summer league.
No.
There's
maybe we will eventually, but
there's too many basketball games in the first place. But
yeah.
Preseason, I want to start with this. New England Patriots and their quarterback situation with Mac Jones and Cam Newton. Okay, so that was one thing I was excited to watch. These young quarterbacks come in and play. They played the Washington football team. Keep the name, by the way. And Cam Newton had to go up against the toughest D line in one of the toughest D lines in history of football. But I did see a difference when Mac Jones came in. Felt like they weren't in that much of a rush. Seems like he was in more control of the game than Cam Newton. Not saying that he played better, but he had it seemed like he had a little bit more control and a little bit better pocket presence.
Yes, I did enjoy watching Mac Jones. He looked like he took his time, picked his target, threw it to the right guy most of the time. I didn't see the whole game, but I agree. Mac Jones went 13 for 19 for 87 yards, and Cam Newton went 4 for 7 for 49 yards. So not exactly a huge,
right,
sample size, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's. I think Mac Jones looked better than Cam Newton
for the first game in preseason. I think Mac Jones right now is proving that he was a good pick. And I've been hearing on the sports world that people are not high on Mac Jones anymore. They thought it was mediocre. And what I'll say to that is, if you can get a mediocre performance from your first preseason game out of a rookie, that's pretty damn good.
Not bad. Yeah. That is not too bad
with that.
If they can protect him, I think I'm not saying he's going to be the next Tom Brady, but I think he could be a pretty solid, thinking quarterback.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good as Tom Brady, but the same type of quarterback as Tom Brady. I think he's got a chance. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but he's got a chance. In other news, actually on the Patriots, though, Ramondre Stevenson looked stellar. 4th round pick, running back, 10 attempts, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns, average of 12.7 yards on 10 carries. He carried the ball 10 times and maintained an average of 12.7 yards. Fantasy owners, keep an eye out. Now, also keep in mind he's on the Patriots. And Bill Belichick is still their coach. Not a great place for a running back.
And I believe they have like 4 other running backs on the depth chart. So it's going to be tough for him to, if you're in the fantasy,
to do much.
Yeah.
But if he can do that, if he can be a great playmaker, he could be a great, a best ball guy. I don't know if you've heard about best ball leagues, but yeah, he could be a great best ball guy. And he could also be a great flex rotation guy, stick him in against a good, against a bad defense, I should say, good matchup. And
see what he can do.
Keep an eye out, fantasy owners.
All right. The next thing that stood out to me was actually watching the Eagles play. The Eagles played the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this game actually stood out to me as well because Jalen Hurts did not look good. I do not think he looked that great. And the person that stood out, Joe Flacco. I thought Joe Flacco looked way better than Jalen Hurts.
Now, you think Joe Flacco's elite?
Oh, Joe Flacco has always been elite. I'm not saying he's elite. I did just say that. What I'm saying by that is the Eagles, I think, have a QB competition going on that's a lot closer than most people think. Because if Jalen Hurts can't figure things out, he does bring a different element to the game. Joe Flacco, but if he can't figure it out, Joe Flacco could be coming for his spot.
Well, you'll never guess who else is on their team.
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins.
And he looked like crap.
Yeah, he went 1 for 5 for 4 yards and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm sorry. The Nick Mullins dream appears to be over. We'll have to wait later on in the preseason, but doesn't look great.
No, he looked like doo-doo.
Also, Jordan Howard. You guys remember him? Bears running back. Was looking okay in fantasy a few years ago. He rushed 1 time for 3 yards. So,
I'm okay with this though, with running backs not getting carries because there's only so many carries that a running back's going to get in his career. So
that's very true.
If I was running a team, my starting running back wouldn't touch the ball in preseason. Okay, maybe once to get the blood flowing and get him hit, but I don't want him carrying it more than 10 times in preseason.
I can understand that. I can understand that.
All right, moving on to the Steelers. Dwayne Haskins looked decent.
Maybe.
He looked decent.
Yeah, he looked
Big Ben
okay.
didn't play. Mason Rudolph started off the game. But I mean, Dwayne Haskins looked okay. But you also have to take into account that these guys are playing against the second and third string of the other team.
Yeah, and I will also say Dwayne Haskins had the worst QB rating of all three Steelers quarterbacks that played against the
game.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I believe they played another
he
team.
looked
They played
decent,
the Eagles.
though.
He actually had the best quarterback rating against the Eagles. So
yeah, okay, that's what I thought. You could tell by the way that he played.
Tell by the way he walks, he's a woman's man.
No time to
No
talk.
time to talk.
He looked great. I was shocked because I'm not a big Dwayne Haskins guy, but I can become one. That's for sure.
I believe I drafted Dwayne Haskins in our fantasy league. With my third round pick.
So you're
like
hoping that he
whatever.
does do well.
I don't have him anymore. Got
Oh.
Jalen Hurts.
And my last thing that I wanted to bring up on preseason was Jared Goff in Detroit. So Jared Goff was traded to the Detroit Lions, and the Rams received your boy Matthew Stafford, Josiah.
Yes, love him.
And did you watch the Detroit Lions? Did you watch Jared Goff's drive?
I watched Jared Goff not do very well. Yeah.
Yeah. They shouldn't have done that. They should have kept Matthew.
It didn't look good. I believe they got some other things out of the trade as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe okay. I have never understood though the things that they do.
The Detroit Lions they have never been good in my lifetime.
No,
ever.
They have not, and they have never really looked like they were going to be. If we're being honest, they've never looked good. They had Matthew Stafford, right? And he was putting up elite numbers. And for some reason, they never chose to get an offensive line. They never chose to, they wait until like middle of the second round, draft a running back that would wash out after a year, like Kerryon Johnson. But like, I mean, yeah, it just, they wouldn't, it didn't seem like they wanted to stick to their players. And after like Calvin Johnson left, he never really had a stellar receiver. He never had an offensive line.
Can you name me a good defensive player that the Lions had in the last year in your lifetime?
Yeah, one.
Yeah. Name it. I know exactly what you're thinking of.
I can't remember his name right now.
Ndamukong Suh.
Oh, really? No, I wasn't thinking of him. I was thinking of the cornerback
Darius Slay.
Darius Slay, who
is not there.
Didn't like the Lions organization and is no longer there.
Exactly. I don't even want to say Darius Slay because of that, but I would say Ndamukong Suh, and he's gone now. So yeah. The Lions organization needs to figure it out. The Ford family. I don't know what you guys are doing, but you got to you're not hiring the right people.
It's certainly not looking like it.
We have
I haven't been impressed.
A huge slate of games today and tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, that we will recap on Monday. So I'm excited to see what happens.
We'll be watching those or as much as we can.
Yep. Zach Wilson's first drive. That's for sure. We have some,
definitely have to watch
predictions on that. Other than that, I don't have any other news to recap for this week, unless you have anything else, Josiah, that you want to talk about.
I don't believe I do. So,
all right.
So yeah.
Well, so that does it for us. Go on YouTube, subscribe, comment the answer to this question, because we will be answering it soon. Who is going to be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots? Mac Jones or Cam Newton? Or some third party that we don't know about yet?
Brian Hoyer.
Yes. Which actually I would be okay with.
He started 2 drives.
He came in
the
third.
Preseason.
Yeah. But so Mac Jones or Cam Newton or Hoyer? and that's on YouTube. Then go on Instagram and TikTok. Give us a follow, West Nile Virus, and tell your friends and family about this virus. We're spreading like a virus.
Yes, we are. We've got.
Tell them they can
You
find us
know,
on YouTube and Spotify.
We're in the beginning stages right now. We've got
Yeah.
patient 0 and then like 2 other people, but we'll get there.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.